A few years ago, people were literally fighting over houses. Not even exaggerating. You had dozens of buyers lining up outside a single home, offering way above the price, throwing in extra cash, just to win. And if you didn't buy? It felt like you'd be locked out forever. But then, everything changed. Suddenly, things slowed down. Prices stopped going crazy. Some even started falling. Homes just sat there, unsold. And now everyone's confused. What just happened to the housing market? Was it a crash? A bubble bursting? Or something deeper that most people completely missed? Because the truth is, nothing random happened. The market didn't break. It just followed a pattern that was always there. You just weren't looking at the right things. Most people think housing is simple. More buyers, prices go up. Less buyers, prices go down. Sounds logical. But it's incomplete. Because housing isn't just about houses. It's about money. More specifically, how cheap or expensive that money is. And this is where most people mess up. They see prices going up, and assume it will continue. They see everyone buying, and think they'll miss out if they don't act fast. But that's not logic. That's emotion. And when emotion controls money decisions, things get irrational very quickly. So let's go back to where everything changed. After 2020, money became extremely cheap. Interest rates dropped to historic lows. Now this might sound boring. But it completely changed the game. Because when interest rates go down, monthly payments go down. And when monthly payments go down, people feel like they can afford more. Here's a simple way to understand it. Imagine one house costs $300,000 with high interest. Another costs $400,000 with very low interest. You'd think the cheaper house is better. But the monthly payment might actually be almost the same. And that's what people focus on. Not the price. The payment. That's how most people think. Not total cost. Just, can I afford this every month? So when rates dropped, it didn't just make houses cheaper. It made expensive houses feel affordable. And that triggered a chain reaction. More buyers entered the market. People upgraded to bigger homes. Investors started buying aggressively. Even first-time buyers rushed in. Demand exploded. But supply didn't. There simply weren't enough houses. So prices didn't just go up. They went crazy. And once that started, psychology took over. People saw others winning, so they felt pressure. They saw prices rising, so they felt urgency. And this created one powerful emotion. FOMO. Fear of missing out. And FOMO makes people do dangerous things. It makes them ignore risk. It makes them stretch their budget. It makes them believe, even if it's expensive now, it'll be worse later. So they buy anyway. That's how bubbles form. Not because people are stupid, but because they're human. And for a while, everything worked. Prices kept rising. Everyone felt smart. Until something quietly changed. Interest rates. Remember how low rates made everything feel affordable? Now flip that. Rates started going up. Slowly at first. Then faster. And suddenly, that same house didn't feel affordable anymore. Because monthly payments shot up. And here's the key point most people miss. Buyers don't care about price as much as they care about payments. So when payments go up, buyers disappear. Not because they don't want houses, but because they can't afford them. Demand drops. And the whole market shifts. Now you'd expect prices to crash immediately. But they didn't. And here's why. Sellers are stuck too. Many of them bought their homes when rates were super low. So if they sell, they have to buy again at a much higher rate, which means higher monthly payments. So what do? They don't sell. And now you have a weird situation. Buyers can't afford to buy. Sellers don't want to sell. So the market freezes. Not a crash. Not a boom. Just stuck. And this is why everything feels so confusing right now. Because it's not a simple story. It's a standoff. Buyers are waiting for prices to drop. Sellers are waiting for rates to fall. And nothing really moves. Here's the big idea you need to understand. Housing is not driven by price. It's driven by financing. Cheap money creates demand. Expensive money kills demand. That's the real engine behind everything. And when you combine that with human psychology, you get cycles. When things are easy, people take risks. When things get harder, people pull back. Same market. Same people. Different emotions. And that's the cycle. Boom. FOMO. Overbuying. Rates rise. Fear. Freeze. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people don't make money decisions based on logic. They react to how they feel. Which means they buy when things feel safe, even if prices are high. And they hesitate when things feel uncertain, even if opportunities are better. That's the trap. So what should you actually do? First, stop following the crowd. Just because everyone is buying doesn't mean it's a good idea. Second, focus on affordability. Not hype. Not headlines. Your numbers. Third, pay attention to interest rates. They control everything. Your payment. Your buying power. And the entire market. Ignore them, and you're basically guessing. And most importantly, control your emotions. If you're making decisions because of fear, or because you feel like you're missing out, you're not thinking. You're reacting. And that usually leads to regret. Because at the end of the day, housing isn't a short-term game. It's a long-term commitment. So the real question isn't, what is the market doing? It's, am I making a smart decision, or just reacting to what everyone else is doing? Because the people who win with money aren't the fastest. They're the ones who stay calm when everyone else is confused. And right now, most people are confused.